Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy TheMadKaiger, and up here today with the final review of the Halo series. I'm going to talk about Halo Wars 2, and I might just do a little bit of a mention about Halo Masterchief Collection if I have enough time. So I already talked about Halo Wars in one of the first Halo reviews we did, and I already mentioned how that game was really, really good as a console um, real-time strategy game. And well, Halo Wars 2 came out on the Xbox One a couple of years ago. And a lot of people were kind of excited for it because Halo Wars was such a unique and interesting and a fun game. And of course, that we did get the definitive edition of Halo Wars on the Xbox One. But Halo Wars 2, in my opinion, was, well, it's kind of split because it did add a bunch of new cool things into it, but there were some things that I didn't really like about it. Now, first of all, for those of you who are interested in the story, it takes place 28 years after the original Halo Wars game. And it takes place roughly about the same time as Halo 5, from what I understand, because the ending of Halo Wars 2, spoiler alert, basically it shows off what happens at the end of Halo 5. And the whole story is, you're playing as the Spirit of, I think it's this, I can't remember the name of the ship. I think it's Spirit of Fire, I could be wrong. And basically you come to this planet that had a signal sent out, and basically what you find there is a faction known as the Banished. And the Banished are basically brute and Covenant, ex-Covenant brutes mostly, that have basically followed this guy called Atriox, who is like a former brute chieftain. And basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to access this Halo ring, and the whole Halo story, right? So there's some weird shit going on, but I've got to say that the campaign is really interesting. It's a really fun campaign, and again, you can play it in co-op, which is awesome because Halo Wars 1 co-op was really fun, and it's a really fun game to play co-op, especially if you're playing it with a friend, because it's really an interesting concept and you can really cover the map a bit more. One thing I did find about Halo Wars 2 is that the campaign does have a variety to it, of course, but there was a lot of missions that really felt like it didn't do too much in terms of new things. A lot of the missions were either like tower defense, defend this place, or set up these vehicles in these places. And a lot of the missions did feel like they were sort of copying some missions from the original Halo Wars. But overall, I enjoyed the campaign. I thought it was really fun. Of course, graphically, this is where I was a bit disappointed with Halo Wars 2. Now, for the environment and how things look in the game, it's a vast improvement. Lots of environment like the grass and the water and all these things look really good. But the biggest issue I had with Halo Wars 2 is a lot of the characters and units in the game look really, well, cartoony. A lot of them don't look like they belong in the Halo universe. Halo Wars 1, of course, you don't really get a complete view of them because it's a real-time strategy game. You're not really meant to see them up close and personal. But Halo Wars 1, the characters actually looked more like Halo characters, whereas in Halo Wars 2, they're really colourful, and some people might like that. It looks nice, but some of the characters that just look really out of place, in my opinion, and it doesn't really do much for it. Kind of looks a little bit cartoonish for a game that's about a war and serious stuff going on. You think it would have a more realistic, grimy kind of look to it, but it actually doesn't. It's really colourful, and sometimes it's really bright in some places, and stuff like that. And I weren't really a big fan of some of the designs in the game, especially for some of the units and some of the vehicles. They look really sort of, they don't look like they belong in Halo, to be honest. They kind of look like if they were in like Command and Conquer or something. They look really futuristic, and some of them look more like they belong in like a cartoon or something rather than a Halo Wars game. But overall, it looks and sounds really well. But it's just one of them things that I weren't a big fan of. Now, of course, they added a bunch of new modes into it. Not only did you have the normal campaign, they also added 2 DLCs. One of them was a called, I think, The Awakening, and you basically, I haven't played it myself. I think my friend might have brought it so I can try it out maybe with him in the future. And that's sort of like where you play as the Banished and you're against the Flood for the most part. And I think the other one was you play as another UNSC and you're against the Rebels, I think, like the Rebel UNSC. I'm not entirely sure. So they did add the Flood into the game, and they did add so it was pretty cool that they did add a Flood campaign in some senses, and you got to play the Banished side of things. Another mode they added into the game was called Blitz. And how Blitz works is it's basically like the Warzone from Halo 5, basically. But it's basically a 2 versus 2 online mode. And the whole point is it's meant to be like a faster paced mode where you have to capture and earn points. Like you capture these command posts and you earn points slowly. And the whole point, again, is it goes back to that card system where, you call in certain units or, quick units and things like that, kind of like in Warzone in Halo 5. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't really play much Blitz. I have tried it out, but I'm not really a big fan of playing, real-time strategy games online as it is. Again, they also added skirmish mode, and also firefight was added into the game, as I think it was in the second DLC. And I haven't played that, but from what I know, been told, again, it's like a tower defense thing based on waves, and you have to hold off and stuff like that. So it's still pretty cool that they did add a bunch of new modes into the game, and new campaigns, and a bunch of new units and stuff. And it still has that. But I felt like Halo Wars 2, a majority of the content is focused on online plays, because there's a lot of challenges and daily missions and weekly missions that are all based on playing online. So I felt like Halo Wars 2 was a very big game that focused a lot online. There is a fair amount of offline and single player and co-op content as well, but it does have a nice variety to it. I didn't think Halo Wars 2 was like the best strategy game I ever played. There was a bunch of new different things about it, like you get like command points to unlock like your special abilities and things. Another thing that I also felt of is the game actually has a lot of paid DLC compared to the first one, which had no paid DLC. The second one has a lot of paid DLC. Like both of those campaigns you need to pay for. You need to pay for Firefight, and there's a bunch of new hero or leader characters you can play as in Skirmish and Blitz and stuff, but you have to pay for most of them as well. There are some pretty cool ones in there, like I think Sergeant Johnson's one of them. Like there's a Spartan leader you can play as. There's a grunt leader called Yip Yap the Destroyer who gets like a mecha grunt as his ultimate unit. So there is a bit of a variety if you're into that sort of thing, and there is a lot of replay value if you're into that. I personally preferred Halo Wars 1 to the second game, but I still think the second game has more content, which is rightfully so. The second game should always offer more content than the first game, no matter what, in any kind of game, right? But overall, I thought Halo Wars 2 was a really good looking and a really well made real-time strategy game. It kind of suffers in a similar vein as Halo 5, where a lot of it just doesn't look like Halo. Halo 5, we already talked about how it was more like a modern first-person shooter, and it didn't really capture the old school feel of Halo. And Halo Wars 2 has a lot, it kind of looks more like a futuristic or a modern, one of these modern real-time strategy games, like a Command and Conquer kind of thing. As a game, it's good, but if you're into fans of Halo, then maybe you might not enjoy it as much just by looking at it. It's something it doesn't stop the game from being good. It just depends on what you feel like when you're looking at it. I enjoyed it, but I don't think it's a game that I'm really going to go back to. Occasionally, I might play it with my friend. We'll try a couple of matches or something, but overall, I just didn't feel like it's one of them games that I'm going to go back to anytime soon. And the thing is, I'm going to give away a big spoiler, so I apologize. At the end of Halo Wars 2, one of the biggest problems I had was that you don't actually defeat the main bad guy, Atriox, in the game. Maybe they add it on in DLC, I don't know. But you just basically, they teleport away and you just see this giant army of the Banished. So it makes me wonder whether or not there is going to be a Halo Wars 3 on the Xbox Series X. Or maybe we will see the Banished return in Halo Infinite, because again, it takes place roughly about the same time as Halo 5. So it would be really cool. And the biggest plot hole I had with it is that if these brutes have been around for a while now, and it's been 28 years and they've been building up this army, how come no one knew about it? You know what I mean? UNSC are meant to be this big, powerful army that know what's going on, but just it's kind of one of them plot holes. But overall, I give Halo Wars 2 a good 8 out of 10. It is a very well-made real-time strategy game. It works fantastically on the Xbox One. And again, you can get it on PC, of course. And it is, again, a made-for-console real-time strategy game. It doesn't feel like a port in any way. Really good game. Now, I'm going to quickly talk about a little bit about Halo Masterchief Collection. I've already done reviews on every single Halo game now. And the way I played all of these games, apart from Halo 5 and the Halo Wars games, was through Halo Masterchief Collection. Now, you can buy the game on its own, or it is on the Xbox Game Pass. Now, Halo Masterchief Collection, when it first came out, it only had Halo 1 through 4. It included the original Halo Anniversary, and it also did the remake of Halo 2, of course, which is why people bought it, because it had the complete remake. And of course, Halo 3 and 4 were just ports of Halo, and even the Halo 1 was also a port. But one thing that I've already talked about all of the campaigns, but one thing about Halo Masterchief Collection that I think a lot of people should go out and try it. If you want to play the Halo games, at least apart from Halo Wars and Halo 5, even though they are both on the Game Pass, every Halo game is on the Game Pass, of course, through the Masterchief Collection. Definitely check out the Masterchief Collection, because it has a compendium of all 6 Halo games that were on the Xbox 360, again, apart from Halo 5 and Halo Wars. And it also includes the multiplayer to all of these games. Now, the way the multiplayer works is you can make your own modes, and they do have the Forge World for each individual Halo game that had Forge World. It also had Firefight from Halo Reach in there, and it also had the Spartan Ops from Halo 4. So as a whole game, you get a bunch of content in this, and you get the multiplayer to all of this stuff. And what's really cool is there are a few things about it that some people don't like for example, like all of the missions are available. You don't have to unlock them, so you can choose whatever you want. All of the skulls are available. Apart from Halo Reach, every single armor is available to choose from. So remember that katana armor from Halo 3? You can choose that straight away, because you can choose you can customize each Spartan for each multiplayer. So you might, when you play online, if you wanted to just go into multiplayer, you might end up in a game of Halo 3 Slayer, and then the next game you could be in could be Halo 4 Slayer, or Halo 2, or Halo 2 Remake, or Halo 1, or Halo Reach. So as a multiplayer game, it's fantastic, because you get 6 multi versions of Halo to play on, and you have all of these awesome modes, and it's got a majority of the content from the previous game. The only thing that is new, the only thing that isn't in the game is that you don't have unlocked straight away is the Halo Reach armor customization. We already talked about Halo Reach and how Halo Reach had, in my opinion, some of the best armor customization Before, when you played Halo Reach, you would have to earn credits by leveling up and completing games, and it would take forever. Now you basically level up and you gain a season point, and you use that point to unlock whatever the next reward is. So sometimes the reward could be 1 helmet, sometimes the reward could be 3 helmets, sometimes it's a visor, sometimes it's a skin, sometimes it's an elite skin. And I'm really glad that they did include the Halo Reach and armor as unlockables rather than just having everything to customize, because for me that was why Halo Reach was such a fun multiplayer game, was because you were trying to unlock all of the stuff and make the Spartan as cool as possible and as unique as possible to you, and you can still do that. It may not be the long, tedious way as it was, but you still can unlock the stuff. And I think Halo Master Chief Collection could possibly be one of the best remastered or collection games, you know, where you've got all these compilation games nowadays like Devil May Cry HD and Resident Evil collections, all of these great collections. But Halo Master Chief Collection is definitely a must-have if you are an Xbox One collector, or even if you have an Xbox One, because you get 6 full games, a massive set of multiplayer, so many different modes, and it is just a great compendium. Excuse me. Yeah, it's just a great compendium of games, and I think, you know, if you want the full Halo experience, just get the Game Pass, because it has it all on there, in my opinion, and it's cheaper than buying these games individual. They're not expensive, to be honest. The most expensive Halo game, in my opinion, would probably be Halo Wars 2, I think. I could be wrong. Most of these games are like under £10 nowadays, so if you want the physical versions, you can get them. And even the old Xbox 360 games and original Xbox ones are dirt cheap, so... But there we go. We've finished the Halothon. Yeah, I reviewed all of the Halo games here. I don't think I've missed out on any. I did miss out on Halo Spartan Assault and the other Spartan top-down shooter game. They're just like twin-stick shooters. They're pretty fun games. Check them out. But I didn't really want to talk too much about them because they're not really a Halo game. They were like Xbox arcade games, so they weren't like full-length games. They were just small games that they released digital only, but they're worth checking out if you like twin-stick shooters. But overall, Halo is just, in my opinion, one of the masterpiece series on the Xbox, and it certainly did decline in the more modern games with Halo 4 and Halo 5 and somewhat Halo 2, Wars 2 in some senses. It certainly has declined over the years, but I still think people love Halo for what it was. You know, it is a franchise now, but let's go back to when it wasn't a franchise, when there was just one game on the original Xbox, and, you know, it all began from there. And I've got to say, playing through all these Halo games again has been a great time, and I've had a lot of fun playing through them all again. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, tonight I will be doing some more Doom Eternal. I am going to do it tonight, but be aware, me and my friend will be starting up possibly next week the Gears of War series, guys. Yes, that's right. The next marathon of games we will be doing is all of the Gears of War games. I won't be doing the original version of Gears of War 1. I will be doing the Ultimate Edition version of Gears of War 1, mostly because that is the full version of Gears of War. So now I hope you guys enjoyed this whole little marathon of reviews, and I am going to possibly do some other videos over these next few days before obviously getting to Gears of War reviews, and of course Doom Eternal review, of course, when I beat it. I played about a couple of hours the other day, so last night I did try out Resident Evil Resistance with my friend, and it seems like a really interesting concept. Unfortunately, these servers are horrendous at the moment, so, which is understandable considering the situations, but it is an interesting concept. Look it up. So we ended up playing Killing Floor 2 last night, which was great. So that stream is still up. But of course, guys, if you want to enjoyed today's video and you enjoyed the Halo game, feel free to leave a like and of course comment below. I know I forgot about Halo Spartan Assault and the other Halo Spartan Ops, whatever you want to call it, game. I apologise, but I just don't really consider them a proper Halo game. So and because it's not got a physical version, there's no point really talking about it. I know I don't have every single physical version of Halo, but it is what it is. But yeah, Halo Master Chief Collection, if you want to play the Halo game, check it out. So, and of course guys, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already and join the family. As always, feel free to follow me on Mixer, Instagram and Twitter at TheMadKaiger. I will be streaming Doom Eternal tonight. I'm hoping I can get Doom Eternal beat over these next few days and then we can do a little bit of a review on it. Overall, I think it's a really, really fun game. My first impression, really good game so far. So I'm looking forward to continuing on tonight. I've started watching movies again at night now, so I have a midnight movie. Watched Happy Gilmore last night, and the night before I watched Harold and Kumar again. Tonight I'm going to watch Little Man. I'm just watching some of my favourite movies that I used to love watching. There's something about watching a movie at late night reminds me of the old days. But anyway guys, as always, have a nice day and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.